Welcome, everybody. Good afternoon. This is our information session workshop. And we start with any apologies?
It was Tyler.
Tyler?
Tyler, I haven't heard from him.
No apologies.
Got a few minutes.
From Tyler?
No.
Right.
Was Tyler at the meeting today?
Yes, he was.
Oh, he might be coming. I haven't seen him
Must
for
be late.
weeks, actually.
No apologies.
No apologies from Tyler. Right, so, and we don't have, well, next item is governance update, but we don't have staff yet, so we will start with the Halswell-Hornby-Riccarton community funding processes and community board projects. So we'll have Helen come forward, please.
Hello, everybody.
Hello.
Hello. Now, I'm hoping to be able to get the clicker to work.
8, 7. Anyway.
Okay. First of all, we're going to whip through this presentation, but want to say that if anyone has any questions, please ask those questions, but also if you want some more information afterwards, staff are available to answer any questions for you, because I know some of you are new to this process, whereas some have done it for many years and information. Go back. Right. So just an update on currently the discretionary response funding for this year. We've got remaining NDRF is 60,000. We're forecasting that majority of this money will be spent. We've got reports coming to the community board in the next meeting for consideration.
When does that need to be used up by?
30th of June.
30th of June.
Does it go forward? Does it go forward?
If you've got money left over, it will transfer over to the next year.
Good. Okay.
Okay, so the funding process, every year the council sets the annual plan. From that annual plan, they set a certain amount of money to go to strengthening community funding. And each board is allocated a certain amount of strengthening community board funding. And as of yet, we don't know what that funding is going to be this year or coming year. From that, the board then gives out money through its Strengthening Communities Fund, and that is a contestable fund. And then the remaining amount goes into the discretionary response fund, which the board set up. Then the board from there can choose to do board projects. And as you can see, those are the board projects that the community board has been involved in the past. Yep.
The Communities Fund applications close on Friday, is that right?
SCF opened on the 1st of May and will close 29th of May, midday. So, great. So the team held 2 online sessions and 6 drop-in sessions. The last drop-in session is happening as we speak now. So the drop-in sessions were held during the day, in the evenings, in the weekends, and round the ward areas for people to drop in and ask questions. But people have also been bringing in, emailing in, asking questions, and staff have been providing guidance around that.
Are there any organisations in your mind that we need to perhaps hurry along?
We've contacted a couple of organisations but it's hard to tell whether some of the applications are in. Like, we don't see until they put that submit button, and so there's 31 waiting to push submit. So,
We can do a guess from the email addresses.
yeah, but
When
when,
all we see is the email addresses of the people, so we can do a guess, and some of them we do a good guess on.
yeah,
Looking at it, I don't really see at this stage many that haven't. None of the majors haven't.
Yeah.
Haven't either got one already submitted or in that pending. But we spend this week hurrying them along, and when it hits Thursday, we'll say, hey, you've got until midday on Friday, and on Friday morning, that's our day when we if there's anybody in there that we see that should be and they haven't submitted and they aren't working on it, we ring round and say, hey, what are you doing? We need to, and last year that's what we did, and hopefully that they don't miss the 12 o'clock deadline, because if they don't hit that submit button by midday rather, that's it. The system closes down.
So from next week, staff will be assessing applications and coming up with recommendations, and we should have the matrices ready for the board to review from July the 6th to the 13th. And it's quite our processes are quite condensed, just the way dates fall and everything like that. So would like the board to take note of July the 6th to the 13th, because we will be sending out the matrices then. And if you've got any questions, that's when you have time to submit your questions, and then staff will be able to answer those questions. And the decision meeting will be on August the 11th.
So, for example, if you only come up with questions on the decision meeting, we may not be in a position to be able to answer them properly. So by asking questions, by submitting questions early, it gives us time to do our research and do due diligence and put the answers together for you. If your question involved finding out more information, we won't be able to do it.
Will the answers be provided before the meeting as well?
It'll be part of the board report.
Yeah, because I was just thinking, like, when we come to the decision meeting, there might be follow-up questions based on what has been provided.
Absolutely.
Today.
And that's why it's till the 13th. So it gives us time to compile the answers and put it in the report, and for the report to hit the agenda. It has 5 sign-offs, so that's why we go back and do our time frame with the dates and times that we have to meet. So that's why these dates, and they're very tight for us.
But yes, you can answer. You can still ask questions.
Yeah, you can,
but we're just letting you know
and also, like, if we know you're going down a certain track, often we will research that more than maybe the question is asked, so that we have got the information there and we're ready to answer any backup questions. It gives us a really good idea of where you're heading. So those questions are important. No question is a dumb question. So the board decision meeting will have the Strengthening Communities funding report. It will also, that day, we'll do the board projects report and the establishment of the 2006-07 discretionary response fund. Well, that's part of the projects. Yep.
What's the board projects report?
I'll show you in a minute. It's coming up. It really is coming up. So Strengthening Communities, last year, just to give you a recap, we had 72 application receipts requesting a total of over $1 million. 9 organisations received multi-year funding, and we had a budget of $662,179, and we allocated 604,136. As I said, figures for the 2026-27 we know once the annual plan is approved. So we don't have that as yet. So last year, as you can see, so last year was the 225-26. The SC allocation, how much funding was given, how much was in the DRF, the board bids or board projects, and the available DRF. So that was the history. So community board past projects. These are, so this is the board projects report. So if you can see in 2025, no Culture Galore, because Culture Galore was
There's no-
funded by town. But the event happened. Community board awards, youth development fund, community leadership opportunities, summer with your neighbours, engaging with the community off the ground, and Anzac Day expenses, which resulted in 32 things. So we'll bring a report around all of those projects, but go ahead, Andre.
Yeah, just which was the garden awards?
Community board awards.
Yeah.
So it combines the community service and the garden together.
Cool. Thank you.
Yeah, just out of interest, how do the awards amount to that much?
So last year, it went down to 4,000 because we didn't have the ceremony, the community garden ceremony where we had a big presentation the previous year at Halswell, and people came in, they had Kai, presentations were given. And so having those kind of presentations costs a lot of money, but actually the costs actually don't reflect the true costs because the huge amount of staff time actually went into it as well.
Ed's got a question.
Yes, I was a bit embarrassed on Anzac Day today, last week, a month ago, the wreath we got, some of the flowers fell off, and it's not up to the standard of other wreaths. So I think we should actually go up to 2,000.
One for Riccarton?
I went to James Close, but it was certainly more greener and less floral work than other years.
So the board, when the report comes to the board, if the board want to put more money into certain projects, we're more than happy for that.
I buy my own wreath every year.
Yeah.
To give that direction.
We had a thought some time ago. I think
We did have a talk about it, yeah. I thought we had talked about it some time ago.
No, hang on a minute. I was going to say something else. I had I'm sure you might remember this, Andre, but some years ago we had even thought that perhaps we could make our own. Oh, they're very easy. You just get a wreath, get the flowers and stick them all on. But it's a lot cheaper.
Yeah.
And
So we can discuss this later,
Yeah,
maybe, so
but
we'll just go
we
ahead.
said that 4 years ago, but I would like to see that come to fruition, which would absolutely cut costs.
We'll just go ahead with the report.
Yeah, so we'll put that on the report. So if the board are happy with all of these being presented again, we will present them again in the board report. Yep. Because I do know there are changes with
Or
their
anything additional? Andre first and then Debbie. Andre.
Just it was so 4,000 was what it cost last year or thereabouts, and we're enough to cover doing the awards out in the community. And the doing the awards out in the community, staff are comfortable doing that. Again, the resources are fine. It's how to
staff as in the community service awards.
yeah. So were your advice to us to be to do the same as we did last year?
Yes.
Yep. Cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
It's the feedback has been overwhelming.
I thought it would be.
Debbie.
There's the odd one that they choose to come in here,
Yeah.
and that's when,
That's
and
great.
that's with the, that's when we do put on the
A little something.
a little something, and that's the same with the Garden Pride Awards this year.
Yep.
When they had the collection day that was downstairs, and they come down, so there was morning and afternoon tea available for people to come, and quite a few of them came in and enjoyed that.
Yeah.
But there is actually quite a bit of money that goes into it. Those awards, just the administration, the printing of the certificates, the frames, when you have a look at all of those sort of things, that does, and we give out, put a voucher in it as well. That does add up.
Why don't we
Thank you.
just have, well, is this the time to talk about it or do it later?
Probably later on.
With garden awards.
The decision
Every second year.
decision report will also offer alternatives, so
Yeah.
we'll take Debbie's question.
Well, yeah, I'm still concerned about the $4,000 because we've taken an extravagant amount away from how we used to spend it. When we go to them, they put on the kai the majority of the time, and you're saying administration, but how does that come up as an extra cost when it would be under salaries and, you know?
Decrease in cost from 7.5.
I understand that, and I'm still struggling with 4.
So
When you're
last year,
printing up certificates.
In the vouchers.
I've got.
And the yeah.
I guess just
Right,
good to
Brian.
get a
Yeah.
breakdown of the vouchers. for
Okay, can we just hear Bailey's response?
The recommendation for the community board awards last year was less than that. But the board chose to add more. If I recall correctly, I think Helen wanted to have money in there in case the board decided to change their mind about having the awards not in the community. So the staff recommendation will likely be slightly less than that,
So
which
can
was
you-
the same as last year.
Can you remember what it was before Helen wanted it raised?
No, but we can send that out.
So you were
It'll
talking
be-
about this, Helen?
Yeah.
Yep. You can't remember what it was?
Not off the top of my head, but I'll be.
No, I understand
Yeah.
Helen's
Yeah.
concern about that, and it seemed to work as we're talking, it seemed to work okay.
Yeah.
And so if that went well, then perhaps go back to our original figure.
Yes, to the staff recommendation, and that money there, so 4,000, we haven't spent all of the 4,000, it goes back into the DRF.
Okay, thank you.
Or any unspent funds go back. into the
Okay,
priority.
great, thank you.
Cody?
So I understand there's a larger amount of money which is sort of set. I know it's not locked in yet. It was a 600 something.
Oh, you mean the Strengthening Communities Fund?
Yeah,
Yeah.
in general. Is there an opportunity for us to top up the youth development fund to be a similar amount to what it was before
So
from that?
So what happens is the Strengthening Communities Fund is taken from the annual.
Yeah.
So council decide it comes.
Yeah.
Then the Strengthening Communities applications come.
Mhm.
And the board decides how much of that they want to spend on those applications. Then they transfer the remaining amount to the discretionary response fund. Then the board decides how much it wants to spend on their board projects.
Oh,
So how you want to spend that money is all up to the board.
yeah, thank you. Yeah,
And
just
with
in terms
the
of
youth development fund, we usually do an amount, and then during the year, if it's not enough, we will put in topping it up.
But we haven't had to top up this year so far,
very good.
which is great.
Thank you.
So hopefully, fingers crossed, we'll wait and see whether there's any more applications that come in before June 30th, but at the moment, we're tracking well.
Okay.
And there might be some left over that goes back into the discretionary. Is there any other questions? Fantastic, thank you.
Thank you.
And I just want to say again, those, if this is their first time through this process, sometimes it's a little bit confusing. Please feel free to reach out and we can run you through it, things again.
That makes sense. Thank you.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you.
Right. So next, we've got John on governance update. Welcome, John.
Hi, everyone. Thank you for the invite.
Thanks.
Skip on here. At the last community board affairs forum, the I was asked to come around and visit community boards and just cover the governance partnership agreement, primarily for board members and others who were not so much aware of it and what it was. And I thought I'd also take the opportunity to update board members on another couple of governance initiatives that are crossing our collective desks at the moment. But also it's an opportunity for myself to come along and answer any questions that board members have got in general. So okay, I'll start off with the bits and pieces that I had, and yeah, please feel free to ask any questions. So the governance partnership agreement, was adopted by boards and council in 2019. And it's a partnership approach to local decision making. So essentially, it says that the council will do the citywide decision making, and decision making that affects multiple parts of the city, and boards focus on local decision making. The boards also feed in local information, either through reports, recommendations, the Part A's, the two citywide processes. We call that the principle of subsidiarity, which is the benefits of making decisions that affect a community at a level as close as possible to that community. The agreement has lasted pretty well. And it's been, as I said, been in use since 2019. One of the things that it also does, and there's a copy of the agreement on the big tin can if you'd like to have a look. One of the things it does is it attempts to define what's a metropolitan issue, your citywide council, and what's a local issue, which helps us from time to time. The agreement is backed up by a range of delegations. The delegations register, which is quite explicit about a lot of the delegations boards get, a lot of the delegations that staff get, and ones that council keeps to itself. The agreement states quite specifically that the council are able to delegate to boards. And if they've got a particular issue, which might be a metropolitan issue, but I think would be better handled by a board, or will delegate it to a board. Conversely, boards can delegate up, and look, I think this board did that with parts of the Church Corner decision, and said, look, this decision might actually be better handled by a council, so you're elected to do that. It provides for boards to make submissions to the council and participate in metropolitan issues. It also provides for boards to research and develop and implement community board plans. The board's vision for the term, what they like to achieve, what are the resources necessary to do that, what are the key performance indicators, the board's strategy, if you like. So they're all provided for under the plan. When the plan was signed, it was intended that it be reviewed. We undertook a review probably about 2 years ago now, and we did a little road trip out from board to board, asking opinions and suggestions on what could be tidied up and what was fine. The review resulted in 2 sentences of change, and they were really just typographical, which indicated to us that the partnership was going quite well. If you like, this is a blueprint on how boards and council work together, and no better way to showcase than that, and just give a few examples of issues that have been resolved and solved under the governance partnership. So there have been a number of examples using this partnership where council have delegated some quite big projects to our local community boards. It delegated to Po Toi Toi, the Linwood Pool, to the ex-Waipuna Community Board. And currently it's delegated Omakihi, the South Library and Service Centre, to the Waihoro Community Board. The small projects, that from time to time that the boards will delegate up. And this board's an example. The Church Street suite of traffic issues was delegated up. We find more boards resolving issues and hearing locals make submissions and less hearings panels. So rather than a local issue decided by a lengthy, expensive, time-consuming hearings process, we say, come along, deputise, talk to the board, talk to the people who actually know the issue, who live and work and are passionate about local issues, and make the decision. So a recent example of many times this has happened, the Pigeon Bay campsite lease. That would have been a hearing, but instead the folks that wanted to make their views clear did deputations to the board. I think there's actually now 23. It was a long meeting. It's probably one of our biggest. The board heard all those and then made a decision. That approach, which saves time, and we think, the feedback is you get a better decision. Was made under this. The other things, one of the other things that's happened is boards are now able to, and in some cases encouraged, to make submissions to external organisations. They in their own right, provided they comment on local impact only. So the Waipuna board wouldn't make a submission on citywide impact. How does this, dear NZTA, how does this impact our board? Dear NEMA, how does the new emergency management bill affect our board? The board's making it clear that it's not the council they're speaking on behalf of. They are speaking on behalf of the board, and they advise the council, what they've said. So council will be aware. But that's been very useful and from time to time used. There are some sticking points. No relationship's perfect, and that there are always some areas that we can improve on. But one of those you guys know all about, where there's a decision affecting land between two boards, boards not agreeing, on their respective approaches. Pretty obvious. The other thing is, from time to time, council don't actually like the decision of boards made, whether it's over, a traffic calming ramp in an intersection or a cycleway on Park Avenue, but there's that, there's that tension under the governance partnership agreement. And usually this says, hey, look, if it's the board's delegation and they've made a considered decision, council, you say make the decision, that's it. Regarding boundaries between boards, the couple of ways under the partnership agreement we can try and resolve that. One of the easiest ways is if it looks like it's going to be contentious or two boards are not thinking alike, it's delegated to the council, and then the council can make the decision.
We should have done that.
Or the boards have a conversation, and the decision is handled by one board. There was a recent decision made by, I think, horror over drone flying in the Port Hills, and a bit of it touched on the Banks Peninsula. The Banks Peninsula board said, "Hey, look, guys, you make the decision. You know, we're happy with this." So either way, a bit of a forethought and a plan of action. What are we doing to help that? Our governance teams are looking carefully at where decisions impact more than one board, carefully where there's one board on one side of the road and one board on the other side of the road, highlighting this in advance and encouraging those sorts of solutions rather than waiting till the report's written.
Is this something that might change after a representation review?
I'll cover that.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah, good question. Very good question.
Just checking, Cody had a question. Was it on the partnership agreement? Did you
Yes.
have to-
Yeah, Cody, yeah, far away. Sorry.
Yeah, thank you. I do have quite a few questions, but I guess I'll just summarize them based off of what I've heard. You mentioned that sometimes council doesn't like a decision, but there was a remark in there to the effect that council can't disregard
No,
the community board's decisions.
Yeah, if a community board, the general rule of thumb is if a community board are delegated to make that decision and the community board make the decision, it's very, very difficult to overturn that decision. The decision's been made and it's a lawful decision, and that's the decision.
Yeah, I guess one other thing that's coming up is the kart club relocation. So the kart club's currently in the Halswell ward.
Yeah.
And we don't have any detail about where it will be, but based off the report that I've seen publicly suggests that it's probably in the community board area. Shouldn't that decision be made at the community board, not at council? Will there be a chance to engage on that?
A specific question like that, my advice to you, Cody, is put a question through to the governance team asking that specifically. We'll do our homework and come back to you. So I'll probably get it wrong
if I make it.
But part of that is the budget, though. Like the budget would have to be approved by council in the long-term plan.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Sure. I guess in a more general context, things that happen in PX like that could have an impact on our community. How do we participate in that? Because it seems like we can't.
If the council are considering a report or a matter in PX, only those are legitimately connected and inviting to the meeting are subject to the proceedings.
My understanding is the budget is council, but the actual, if there was an actual relocation proposal, that would be community board, but we'll need to double check that. That's my understanding, but we'll need to double check.
Yeah.
Because there'll be multiple processes to that.
Get through the budget process first.
Yeah, but I'm pretty sure I recall them saying that there was a community board decision as part of it.
I thought it already had gone through the budget process years ago.
Yeah, but the budget's not sufficient anymore.
Yeah.
That's probably.
Yes, I don't think we'll dwell on that. Yeah, thank you.
No, not on.
There's another question from him.
Yes, I was a bit concerned about the issue around the kart club in that the staff hadn't put down any of the background history on it.
Right.
And I went in and did a submission on the background history.
Yeah.
But it should have been there from, in fact, staff. Have you any reason? I probably can't ask you, but I could think something through.
Yeah,
But it's odd.
Yeah. Look, it's again, if you've asked that question and it's
I haven't in writing.
Yeah, otherwise look submitted through the board team. I'm just not
No, you aren't.
versed in that.
But that was a bit odd. That
There was.
the history wasn't there.
The history was there. Some of the people says.
Yeah.
So because our board is not a decision maker in that kart club, are you saying that we can actually submit on it?
I think these are.
Yeah, maybe ask for some advice.
Okay.
Yeah.
We'll take that offline.
Yeah. Fire it through.
Make sure it does that.
Yeah. Yeah, no worries.
So,
John's looking at the process.
Yeah, I get that, sorry.
as usual, it's a document that is how we work together, not specific issues, and it does engender debate. It seems to be working because we're having these conversations. At the moment, we don't have any intention to review it further. because of what I'm going to cover in one topic but one. And the question, Joseph, you asked, the local government change.
Sorry, I've just got one more. The delegations register, is that something you're looking at updating at the moment?
It's constantly updated.
Yeah.
Yeah. So boards and council, mainly council, will get continual reports updating that.
I guess specifically as the impact on community boards was more what I was meaning.
There's no planned bit of work to scan it and check community board delegations, but certainly I would expect specific delegations to come to boards to be changed. The one that comes to mind, I'm not sure if it's come already, is at the moment boards have a delegation to improve essential asset management easements, the easements for sewers and drains and things like that over reserves. That comes to boards. Boards have never, ever rejected one. So there'll probably be a request to delegate that to staff, to Angus Smith. So we don't waste your time.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But that's the sort of thing. It'll be done incrementally.
Thank you.
Standing orders. A red book, our friend, the standing orders, our current copy, 6th of April 2017. A little while ago now, isn't it? The government have standardised standing orders. And they have a draft set waiting to be adopted by legislation. The Local Government System Improvement Amendment Bill is waiting to be passed in council. Essentially, what it does is it standardises local government standing orders throughout the country for a whole bunch of reasons, which will be usually pretty sensible. However, because local governments are different, regions are different, there will be certain areas that councils and boards will and do have the flexibility to consider themselves. So essentially what will happen is, I think on the 16th of June, there's a workshop for council to discuss the new standing orders. Give staff some feedback. Between the 16th of June and say the middle of July, the City Secretariat will plan to visit boards to discuss new standing orders. And we would like to put some adoption reports, because boards have to adopt new standing orders. The council can't do it for boards, you've got to do it yourselves. We'd like to come and do that in August. And of course, all of this is pending the government passing the legislation. The areas that the council and each community board will need to make some decisions on are things like the duration of their meetings. How long do you want your meetings to go for? The general procedure for speaking, moving motions, making amendments, the rules of debate. So each board can, set its own rules of debate. The time limits related to public participation. If you are considering 23 deputations on a campground lease, does the board want each deputation to be up to an hour? Probably not. But again, boards can consider how long they want that. And casting votes. That's also a matter for each board or each council.
And John, will that include proxy voting?
I think that will be standardised. I don't know the exact details, but no, I don't think proxy voting will be a matter for an individual board. That will be in the standard standing orders.
So when it comes to our board, and if we don't agree with something, does the board have to be unanimously agreed to the adoption of the standing orders?
I will check the rules. It will either be unanimous or sometimes it's 70%. The changes to procedure like this are sometimes a percentage. I will double check that. I guess what I'm signalling is between the middle of June and say the middle of July, someone who actually knows what they're talking about here, they will come along and do the detail. You'll have the standing orders and the areas where there is flexibility, and you can ask these questions.
Is there opportunity at this time to predetermine what we may want changed?
I would wait until the I think it's Katie Matthews will come out and run the workshop.
Yep.
And then there will be opportunity for boards to consider that. Yeah. And there'll be a decision-making report for the board to adopt it. And a decision-making will be an option. A report will be an options report. So within the area that boards and councils have flexibility, yes, of course, boards can make their decisions. The areas that are fixed by legislation, no.
And just a final question for you. If we all agree on a particular situation, does that need to be across the board through the city?
Having spoken with Katie, from a governance process perspective, it is far easier and far better that everyone agrees. It's a bit like standard code of conduct. If you have 7 different variations, the community get confused, we get confused. It's not the best. However, that doesn't take away from if a board feel that their area and the people they represent, and it's best to do business a certain way, boards are entitled to make that decision. Yeah.
Thank you.
No worries. Ball's in your court, I think what we're saying.
Oh, lovely.
Yeah.
Thanks, John.
Is this meeting with Katie scheduled for at our briefing on June 23rd? Not necessarily.
I don't know.
So will it be a date that's outside of what we've currently got in our calendars?
No. So we haven't, that's not organised yet.
Just because within that time frame though, we've just got that one briefing, I think.
Anyway, okay. They try to fit it. Yeah. They'll try to fit in with the board's individual schedules.
Yes, it will.
Cool.
Yeah.
And we're still waiting for it to be adopted.
Yeah. We're waiting for Parliament.
Good luck with it.
Sure.
Yeah.
And it could even be later then.
It could be. Yeah. If they don't pass it, this will be shunted up. Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is an early advice. It's coming. Exactly when? Oh, we don't know. Until then, the red book.
Mine's white.
White. Oh,
Yeah.
I've got executive copies there. Lastly, Head Start, simplifying local government reform. As most of you will know, a couple of weeks ago, and it really was only a couple of weeks ago, the government announced a new Head Start pathway for local government reform. The reform focuses on the disestablishment of regional councils in 2028 and promotes the creation of unitary councils. Uni 1. The Head Start process, what we're discussing, provides a voluntary, these are government's words, a 3-month window for council to submit outline proposals for potential reorganisation.
Volunteer or else.
Voluntary, yeah. The proposals must involve 2 or more territorial authorities and will ultimately be assessed and decided by central government. If you recall, before Christmas, the government signalled its intentions to disestablish ECAN and said, look, how about a collective of mayors replacing that? What do you think? Everyone didn't think that was a good idea. So the government has said, okay, you don't think our idea is a good idea. What do you think? And that was the background behind this paper.
Questions first from Cody and then.
Sorry.
and then
I'll go through you, Chair. I've got to remind you.
Cody and then Joseph.
Yeah,
Through the chair.
yeah.
Has there been any consideration given to changing our status from a community board to a local board, like what they have in Auckland, as part of this?
Can I answer that at the end?
Okay.
Yep.
Joseph.
Thank you, Madam Chair. So I saw in the attachment, the Head Start pathway document, there's a few references to boards of mayors.
Yep.
That sounds a lot like combined territories boards made up of mayors. Do we have any information on whether this is actually substantially different from what was proposed before?
Yeah, the difference is for 3 months, the ball's in the council's court, so the council can propose. The government have made some suggestions. Councils didn't think they were a good idea. So the government said, okay, well, what are your ideas? The document that I circulated has the time frame.
What's the time frame?
The Head Start opens in May. The outline proposals from the council submitted August. It's not a long time. The Cabinet agrees proposals in principle September. Gets back to the council's concern and said, look, we broadly agree, blah, 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 or not. Finalise your proposal. Final proposal submitted March 2027. The Cabinet confirms proposals, introduces legislation, Q3, Q4 in 2027. Legislation enacted, Q1, 2028. The implementation begins in May 28, leading to local elections in October 28. So that's have a read. That's the pathway. What I thought boards might be interested in is the 5 criteria that government are going to use to assess proposals. So what's really important to government? Deliverability. Can it be delivered? Can the new arrangements actually be delivered? They wanted to support the new planning system, the RMA, and they wanted to simplify. They want to avoid duplication. They really don't like regional councils, and so they
Obvious.
They want to simplify local government, and local governance. The efficient regional governance arrangements, consolidating decision making, approving alignment between the regions' councils. They're looking for economies of scale, and they always do. Sometimes they get them. Sometimes they just get more complex structures, but they're looking for economies of scale, asset management, infrastructure, investment, service delivery. Probably most important to boards, I feel, is the 5th one, maintains local voice, demonstrates fair and effective representation for communities of interest and how decisions will be made at the local level, balancing urban and rural interests. So, Cody, going back to your question, do they retain community boards? Do you go to that kind of halfway house with boroughs or local boards, a bit like Auckland? We don't know. I really don't think that the council and the mayors or anyone has yet got their head around that. But what we do know is it's one of 5 decision-making criteria, and I do think the government are really wedded to that idea because they know if communities feel disenfranchised. The council needs some friends. So ideally, I said a proposal needs to be more than 1. It needs to be a minimum of 2. I am advised that if we don't have friends, if we can't agree, and that's an if, the council would submit its vision.
Hmm.
You know, so we would say, look, we've tried and look, we're there, but we think this is the best idea. As I said, the document came out a week and a bit ago. I believe that chairs are, it's not pressed today. I think chairs are going to be invited to
June 2nd.
Yeah, a workshop on June the 2nd, with councillors to come in and get an update from the folks leading this, the mayor and the CE. As far as possible, the intention is for this to be an open and inclusive process. As far as possible, in 3 months, woe to go.
Mm.
So there won't be an extensive community consultation. There's just not time.
Mm.
But speaking with the mayor's office and speaking with the CE's office, they have started engaging with other councils at a CE level and a mayoral level. And you can hear in the media other councils are looking at this question. There's been a lot of comment from Selwyn, a bit from Waimak. I think over the next 8 weeks or so, this will come together quite quickly. Probably more advice I can't give you at this point. But Marie, you're invited to go along on the 2nd of June. Because the chamber's tiny, we can't accommodate every board member. They just can't fit. So the CE has committed to recording the meeting and making it available to everyone.
All right, we got questions from Joseph and then Helen.
Thank you.
So just, I know you said can't go into much more detail about it, but should this board expect to be in communication with Selwyn District Council or any subdivisions of Selwyn District Council?
I don't think so.
So the answer is, I don't know. I know that communication has started at a mayoral, deputy mayoral and CE level. And I'm not sure it's progressed before then. I'm sorry, progressed much beyond that. As regards expectations, I just look at the time frame imposed by the government. 3 months woe to go from paper published to proposal. I bet there's not a lot of time. But I do know that the mayor and the CE want this to be as inclusive as possible within the time frame. Watch this space, I think, Joseph.
But most of Selwyn don't have community boards.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They only have one.
Billy and I was talking to.
So
Is that Melbourne?
One from Melbourne.
Yeah.
There's also a okay.
Right. Okay, question from Helen.
Yes, in terms of
yeah,
the role, or in terms of having community boards, is there a possibility that the council could say no to community boards?
Count.
I mean, are they specified at all in this document?
It's in that criteria, the local voice.
I mean,
Yeah. So I mean,
yes,
just reiterating what Mark said,
Yes.
maintains local voice as a criteria.
local voice,
Yeah.
but in theory, they could potentially do that, in theory,
Well, say
if they wanted to.
They're assessing it on those 5 criteria.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, and
I think, Helen, the onus is on the council,
Merging.
ideally with others,
Yes.
to put a proposal.
Yes.
yes.
Yeah.
And if we merge with ECAN, which I think is a good thing personally, would that be the two councils, or would we have to take in a third, do you think? Or is that hypothetical?
Yeah.
Like, so,
Yeah, two's minimum.
yeah, 2 is the minimum.
Yeah, going through the criteria, I think they're looking for more.
Yes.
But that's a real look, I think, based on looking at a criteria. I'm certainly not going to be the one submitting a proposal.
No.
And the councillors in the room may know more than me on that. So
Yeah, I've been asking since early this year to try and get all councils together around us and say, let's have a roundtable chat. But that hasn't happened as yet. I'm still trying to
Yes,
get that arranged.
Well, we know some other
Okay.
round tables that have been going for
And-
about 8 years.
And can I just say one thing that I'm very concerned about is that Christchurch has done the right thing with water in terms of having an in-house water system. If we merged with Selwyn, they've got a council-controlled organisation for water. So there's another layer there too that has to be, that will be talked through by managers, I presume, and councillors.
Part of the asset management that we talked about earlier.
There's a sort of layers underneath, isn't there?
There's a lot of water going this way.
Right.
Yeah,
Thank
Literally.
you, Ben.
Thank
We
you.
got another question from Andre.
Thanks, John. A representation review. So I mean, cabinet confirms proposals May next year. So does that mean reviews kind of wait until then?
Yeah, we think,
So that's a very quick turnaround between May next
yeah,
year following, right?
From cabinet agrees in principle to legislation enacted, there is time to do a representation review. And if you like, once there's some broad agreement in place, you can do the detail of a representation review, and it will run in tandem, and each will inform the other. Yeah. So we think it will. We were considering whether it was appropriate to do a really quick representation review, because we've got to do it legally now. So no, let's wait until we get a signal and run it concurrent with this process.
Yeah. So your intention is the tools down until September.
Yeah.
So
That makes sense.
So you mentioned we're legally required to do it now.
Yes.
No, the legislation is you will do one every 6 years.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
We're falling right, June, do anyway.
So we're waiting to see what.
Stars are aligned.
So you're waiting to see, in layman's terms, you're waiting to see what's happening with the structure of.
Councils.
Yeah. How that picture emerges,
Yeah.
which will inform
Good call.
a rep review and people's views on it, I think.
Yeah.
Because the rep review, looking at the stars, might well be Rymac, Selwyn and Christchurch do all of area review and decide representation. So everything's in the air.
But that's another pretty good point. I mean, who's like, let's say that was the outcome, version of 3. Who's actually leading a rep review? Like, how would 3 different councils
Someone.
run a rep review for one merged council? But I'm not.
And you
Yeah.
And we haven't certainly.
Haven't thought about that, and fair enough.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
That thought hasn't crossed my desk.
Maybe now, yeah.
Pay grades up there.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I mean, it's just a comment, if I might, Marie, is the timetable. I thought these guys, the two men, Mr. Bishop and Mr. Pinkers, have come up with this in a hurry, and I thought they'd probably get further with it. So there is an issue if there's a change of government.
Yes.
This could potentially die, I presume.
Could do. Yeah.
Labour have made really no comment whatsoever. So goodness knows what they think. They don't.
Yeah.
So it's really odd that they're putting this pressure on now.
There might be an agreement.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
But would it be at top
So
priorities?
it's a tentative proposal, really,
Yeah, I don't know.
subject to the government staying the same.
Thank you, Helen. Another question from Cody's.
That was my question.
Pass.
Yep.
Okay, any other questions?
No.
Oh, wow.
Joseph,
What happens if DIA chooses to take over the representation review?
Don't know.
I don't know.
I think they will.
Who?
Department of
It
Internal Affairs.
doesn't make any sense.
But that's not us.
Yeah.
That's why I'm asking if
Yeah.
you know what happens when
Yeah.
if they take
They'd
over.
have to, like, have 3 councils
Yeah.
review at the same time.
Yeah.
I think they'd have to.
So we have no idea what that would look like if they chose to come in and take over.
No. Or if they would, but Councillor Moore's point, if you've got 3 or 4 friends, how do they work together or not to do this? It's not an easy answer.
Do these reviews occur every 6 years, is it?
Yes, under current legislation, we've got to review our governance
We'll just stay.
representation arrangements.
It's a big, hefty process. It's a big process.
Yeah, so there was one done before the last term, right? And that's when the
422, yeah.
change.
Yeah. And that was an interesting process. We just managed to play around, adjust ward boundaries to have 5 broadly equal populations wards and a Banks Peninsula. Potentially, if we tried to do that now, much more fundamental change would be needed because of you lot growing.
Yes.
You know, so
Yep.
yeah, so we're up for you know, whether it's done under this or another system or whatever, we would be up for reasonably substantial change.
Yeah, if we change it back to like how it was in 2013, which was at large, being elected at large, then you wouldn't have that contention of trying to even the numbers out, would you?
No, but you
Depending on the structure.
have contention over where the boards are. Like Selwyn, for example, don't have community boards.
Yes, I know,
So
but what
it's,
but what I bring it back down to, and as you know, John, I've always said this, is that the voters want to vote for those who are making decisions for them. So the 9 of us are all making decisions, whether it's Hornby-Riccarton or Hawke's. And that's how it was 2013 and prior, being elected at large, because they want to vote for those. And another thought was, say for instance, if somebody resigned from, say, Riccarton. So for instance, if somebody resigned from Riccarton, say Community Board, as an example, I could actually apply for that. Well,
It's interesting.
but it's my point is that literally I could.
Yeah, you could. Yeah.
And
I mean, you already could. You just be able to.
now.
it's the same board and we're all making decisions, as we all know, for the entire 3 wards.
Can I just clarify? So say if there's a change of government, this potentially gets, acts as far as we are aware, there's still a rep review.
Would be done.
That would be done in a different way because there's not necessarily potentially 3.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah.
So it would look very different.
There's a lot of ifs there.
Yeah.
Going back to Andre's comment, the opposition hasn't said much about this at all. Just like it hasn't said a lot about rate capping. You know, does it agree with it? Does it not? So we don't know what the opposition, you know, the Labour Green Māori Party, if there's still a coalition, think under a rep review, the legislation states how a rep review needs to look, and we'd be required to follow that legislation. So even if this didn't go ahead and we did a rep review, it would still be in the parameters of the legislation.
And is it primarily dependent on where the population numbers?
It's got a lot to do with it. An awful lot to do with it.
Selwyn just did a rep review prior to this last election that's just happened.
Yeah, right.
He got an at-large councillor added.
Yeah.
For one.
Yeah.
So they'd had some interesting changes.
Yeah.
So in terms, say we merged, I think we'll have to merge with Ecan anyway. And if we merge with Selwyn, so I guess it depends on if we have to go bigger than Ecan. But if we just have Ecan, we could potentially keep the same number of councillors at the table, potentially, if people wanted that.
I think it's all in a proposal.
The proposals, yeah. So the boards have some formal input, I guess, at some point.
Going back to my
Yes, I know.
the process is still being worked through.
Okay.
The time frame is not conducive to widespread inclusion.
Oh.
You know, it's a 3-month from a published document to a submitted proposal. This is really all I know. Things are moving fast. 2nd of June, we'll all know a lot more.
Right. Okay. I think.
Thank you.
Now that, thank you very much, John.
Yeah.
And we'll hear more on the 2nd.
Thanks for the discussion. And questions. That was really, really good. Thanks, guys.
Right, thank you.
Thank you.
Anything you need to know, ask Bailey.
So is that, we've got to work.
Yes,